This is FinTech Futures at FinovateFall, and I'm joined by Anu Sachdeva of Genpact. Anu, how are you?
Thank you very much. Excited to be here today, Paul.
Excellent, excellent. How are you enjoying the conference so far?
Phenomenal. There's so much of excitement in the air. I think there's endless opportunities for us to take generative AI to the next level.
Excellent.
I'm very excited about it.
Perfect, perfect. So just to get started, let's give us a quick introduction to yourself and
Sure.
your role at Genpact.
Well, my role, I'm the global service line and solutions leader for Genpact, responsible for bringing in new technologies, new products, new services, and make the outcomes better for our clients.
Excellent, excellent. And you mentioned there, you're delivering a keynote speech whilst you're here on generative AI in banking. Obviously, one of the big topics this year across industries has been Gen AI. Looking at financial services in particular, what kind of key use cases do you think it's bringing to banking and the key benefits it's bringing?
So, look, generative AI, especially for banking and financial services, which has historically been the laggards, historically been slow movers, I think the opportunity is immense to now leapfrog into the next generation. A lot of banks are already testing. It's still a phase of testing, trying, failing, redoing, and as Genpact, we are fully integrated and part of that whole journey for our clients to really help them achieve their outcomes, the business outcomes, to a next level. Some examples from the industry, I'm sure you would have seen it, Morgan Stanley or Citibank, they're already trying and testing it in their software side. We have seen American Express, I believe, trying it out in the analytics. I was in Australia a few weeks back and I heard about Commonwealth Bank and even Westpac, trying out in their operating processes. So lot of testing, lot of proof of concepts, lot of ideas are being tested, and I think Genpact is aligned in the journey, and we ourselves are testing and implementing several hundreds of ideas for our clients.
Excellent, excellent. On that front then, can you tell us a bit more about some of the Gen AI services that you've been developing at Genpact and some of the solutions that you've been offering for your clients?
So what we looked at, Paul, was what would be most impactful for the bank's customers and their own employees. So we are kind of looking at both the sides of the value generative AI can create. So especially in the area of customers, we have already implemented generative AI in anti-money laundering, which I know is such a huge issue. Money laundering is such a huge issue for the industry. I don't know if you realized or know that almost $1.6 trillion of illicit funds flow through the system. And guess what? Only 1.6% ever get caught. That's the kind of problem, and very, very close to us, in terms of how important it is, because it speaks to the purpose of our organization as well. So we have created a solution, exactly to handle that. It's already been implemented through our proprietary risk canvas platform for our clients, Apex FinTech, and we are helping them using generative AI in making sure that the narration, the narratives, which are written and the reports which are generated has big generative AI embedded in it.
Excellent, excellent. Some of the concerns around generative AI as well have been accuracy in the responses, potential bias in the responses. How have you gone around kind of adapting that tech or developing that tech as well to kind of make sure that you're getting really accurate responses but also avoiding that bias as well?
And I think that's a very important question, and also responsible AI is a very big field in itself, and as Genpact we have created frameworks to counter exactly what you're just talking about. How do we make sure that there is full transparency to what the models can do and what they cannot do? What is the kind of data we are bringing in? Or data privacy, protection of IP. How do we ensure that the biases don't creep in the models? How do we make sure there's no discrimination? So there's a massive area which, as Genpact, we have created our own frameworks to help organization, take care of exactly some of these concerns, and the whole governance mechanism which has to be put in place to ensure that we have a framework established which can handle all this.
Excellent, excellent. And what would you say then are the best practices for banks who are looking to introduce Gen AI and the best kind of ways that they can go about introducing this into their systems?
Look, I think it's early time for most banks and financial services institutions, and having been in the industry for the past 20 years and one big area, one big lesson that we have learned is that it's how you contextualize, how do you leverage the domain in making sure that generative AI, is impactful. And because we have seen millions of transactions which go through our system, there are a few lessons, a few ideas, I would love to share, which, hopefully our audience can take back. I think first and most important, don't think of generative AI as a standalone. It has to be embedded and it has to be orchestrated end to end into the journey, into that outcome, not as a standalone thing. So that's the first big learning or first big statement I would make. The second would be, how do you make sure that you insert it so that it's effectively working with the rest of the digital technologies which are implemented in the banks and financial services institutions. For example, cloud computing or robotic process automation or even data orchestration. How do you bring it together? Because the collaborative effort together with these technologies will actually supercharge innovation for the firms. The third big thing is data. No surprise. I always think of data as, these are high entropy systems, ecosystems. And as I said, I always think of data as, think about a teenager's room. It can never stay clean. You have to keep at it. I think of data exactly the same way. You have to keep at it. You have to make sure that it's formatted, it's clean, it's available. So data has to be it is the most important part. And lastly, I would say is, don't underestimate the change management that's needed. You have to bring in your employees with you all in that journey, because employees who are a part of it, when you have them as a part of this entire initiative, the adoptions are far more higher. So invest in upskilling the employees, invest in cross-training them, bring them along in the journey.
Excellent. Just to finish off then, given how quickly technology has been evolving recently, do you ever see a future with AI that could get so advanced that it kind of removes that human need from the banking experience? Or do you think that with often some of the niche things, often complex things that people have to deal with, that we're always going to need that human element in there?
So as Genpact, we are a firm believer that the world will see AI and humans together. It is going to be AI plus human, which is actually going to be the future in our view. And the reason I'm saying is the following. Look, our roles are going to change. The tasks are going to get eliminated, not the work. The work is going to get further enhanced and furthermore, valuable. And we think bringing in the humans, their empathy, their emotional quotient, the human ethical decision making, it will actually refine these technologies. It will actually make sure that these technologies work even better, and we can actually bring more creativity, more innovation into the picture. So why solve, the edge cases or the long tail issues or long tail problems with only AI? Bring humans in the loop, so that we can take it to the next level. So that's how we see the future to be. And it's very, very exciting.
It's definitely very exciting. But Anu, thank you so much again for taking the time out to speak. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Paul.